David Park.
Council Mayor, once again, I'm here before you, but as we know, and everyone here knows, the forensic audit and the contents of that forensic audit, and the criminal violations that appear to be in that forensic audit. And last week you received the internal affairs report. That internal affairs report contained not only corrective action, but it also pointed out the fact that from a liability standpoint, everyone on council, everyone on the board, everyone in CEIDC has liability for both personally and professionally. And I also wanted to mention tonight, as you move forward in your meeting and you vote on both the corrective action recommended in the internal affairs report and the employment contract for Mr. Gentry, I ask you to dig deep and do what's right. Dig deep. And as Councilman Ivey prayed, that God would give you the wisdom, and that wisdom and the guidance of the Holy Spirit would lead you to do what's right. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. As you know, Mr. Pemberton is our legal counselor. Lawrence Minner.
Thank you, Mayor, City Administrator, and Council for giving me the opportunity to speak. In the last meeting, Natrina Hicks said at the last meeting that medicine for the dogs at the dog shelter would be too expensive, but it was explained to you and everyone that a vet was offering their services, which in itself would save the city taxpayers a lot of money, which in return would more than pay for the medicine. Anyone with a 5th grade education can figure that out. But Natrina Hicks always comes to these meetings and asks, in my opinion, foolish questions and says, I'm just trying to figure this out. You had a week to 2 weeks, sometimes more, to be prepared for these meetings. So if you can't figure out these simple things, you should have never run for this position. But one thing for sure, you're always prepared for trying to get James Gentry, who has stolen $18+ million of taxpayers' money, back into the CEIDC. Perfect example, we're here right now, and why couldn't this wait, this agenda? Why couldn't this wait? Because you want to give a thief, James Gentry, another 2-year contract. Again, anyone with a 5th grade education would know better than to do that. And yet, at every meeting, Natrina Hicks pushed to put James Gentry back in power and put more money in his pocket. And the whole time Mr. Gentry has been off on administrative leave, he's been paid every month. 2+ years to sit at home and get paid to do nothing. And yet, James Gentry has gall enough a few weeks ago to put a lawsuit on the city of Crockett. And that lawsuit, I'm not sure if it's $1 million or $1 billion. The word says million, but the number says billion. And for what? Well, I've got news for Mr. Gentry and Miss Natrina Hicks and anyone else that we may or may not know about. Your days of stealing from Crockett taxpayers are coming to an end real soon. We, the people, are fed up. That's black, white, brown, doesn't matter what the race, what the color. We're all taxpayers and we're fed up. And for the record, race has nothing to do with it. It has to do with right and wrong. Because if we find out that more people are involved, regardless of race, they will also be prosecuted. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, John Jenkins.
Council and Mayor, I'm here this evening again, and I'm going to continue to come back until we, and I want to stress the whole audience, until we the people understand.
Okay, you can address the
Ma'am,
You're speaking to the council. You may turn and speak to the council.
I'm speaking to the people, Mayor.
Okay, well, you need to do it on your time, council time.
It's not, it's my 3 minutes.
To
I
the-
have 3
to the
minutes to
council.
give my opinion of
To
what I need to
the
say.
council.
I mean, I want to address, because some of the things that are going on, the people out here are misinformed of what is going on. They're only getting one side of the story. Look, ma'am, I've been here 29 years, and I think I've addressed everybody here. I have addressed all of the people that have been here, the county judge and whatever. And I think it needs to be that we are a community, as I went and served, to give that right to you all to have that. And again, so I mean, as far as the opinionated attitudes that everybody has, and we can forget, because I don't have that racial or whatever sentiment in my body. So I mean, I want everybody to understand that we have to be a community. That's what we're here for, and that's what we're trying to do. We have, circumstances. I've been addressing an issue since 16, still hasn't been taken care of. I got more water and whatever, but everybody says it's God sent. Well, it may be, but it's the people that are not doing what they need to do. And again, the same way as I addressed the issue on Fort Worth, on Houston Avenue, the man came over from the architectural and says that it was misguided and whatever. But that was the instructions that he said he got from the people in Public Works or whoever was doing it. Go look at that street. He admitted to me personally. I mean, so I want everybody to know that I'm not just here for John Jenkins. I'm here for all of you, and I have been for 29 years.
Council's
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, Diane Rome.
The City Council will be voting tonight on James Gentry's contract, a 5-year contract. $95,000 annual salary, an SUV, 3% increase every year, no supervision by the city. What a deal. Did I mention that he's also filed a million or billion, whatever it was, lawsuit? Well, I'm going to give you some food for thought. Our police officers, public works, administration, office personnel, firefighters would love that sweetheart deal. Yet we expect them to show up every day, go to work hard. Why would they expect to perform duties? As here we have a man has not worked a day in nearly 2 years, and we're going to reward him for his bad behavior. So, before you vote, I want to address Natrina and Daryl. And I'm asking you tonight, do not vote on this issue, because both of you have a direct conflict of interest, and this is a fact, not fiction. Last but not least, Natrina, if you and Daryl's goal is to divide this county down the racial line, you need to get over it. I happen to have many black friends, and I can tell you they do not like what you are doing. I know because I was talking to a black friend of mine at my kitchen table, and this is exactly what was said. Diane, she's making us look bad. I wish she would just stop. This is not about black and white. It's about right and wrong. So, if you cannot be a part of the solution to fix this mess, then I suggest that you both resign so we can go forward. And I would like to say to Daryl, I hope that if you continue to serve, that you will attend the meetings that you have not done. Over 85% you've missed your meetings. You can't know what's going on if you're not here and that you're trying to call in from Alabama. Thank you.
Joe Dunn James.
Mayor and Council, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. First of all, I wanted to come before you and tell you this situation hurts my heart. For the citizens of Crockett and Houston County, for everybody involved. Natrina and Daryl, y'all know this is a direct conflict of interest and y'all need to do the right thing, please. There's no way that anybody can justify that y'all vote on this issue having been in the positions that you've been in the past. Common sense and just doing the right thing says that you should not vote on this because of the conflict of interest. Please do the right thing. Now, I have had opinions, I have made comments, I have asked questions, trying to find out what's going on with this. And in the last 2 weeks, I received a threat personally to my face at my business telling me that I needed to back off and be quiet. I know that that has been done in the past to other people. And I'm just here to tell you, I'm not the one. I will defend myself, my family, and my property to whatever means necessary, and I will not tolerate being threatened because of my opinion on a public matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Cat Cross.
Mayor, City Council, and City Manager. I started this out to appeal to Mr. Johnson as a businessman, and he's not here, so hopefully he's listening and he'll pick up on this. He has a lounge here in Crockett, so he is a businessman. We have other businessmen up here on the podium. Let's say your business, you hired someone to promote and run your business. Then you find out that that employee you entrusted to run it correctly has made some big mistakes and used money frivolously. You told this employee not to do the bad things again, and he continued anyway. So you send this employee home, and you still pay the employee until you can sort all this out. You pay someone else, a professional, to help you sort through all of it, and another person to help you figure out how to help the employee to do the job right. But before you get this report on changes you made, your business partner comes in and says, no, give the employee's job back, and you do. Then the employee files a lawsuit against you and your partner. The next week, you and your partner get the recommendations of what changes to make, and your partner wants to renegotiate the employee's contract, even though the contract goes against the recommendations you just paid for. It seems maybe your business partner may have benefited from the employee's actions as well. Does this make any sense to any of y'all? Is this the way you would run? It makes sense? This is the way you would run your business? No, because you would be bankrupt with nothing to show for it, and when this all played out. It doesn't make sense to me either, but this is basically what I'm watching happening. The city of Crockett is a business and needs to be handled as one. Have your votes been in the best interest of the city? I know they have not. And I addressed this to Mr. Johnson because he keeps saying he's not responsible because he's only been to 3 meetings. He is definitely responsible. All of you are responsible for what is happening regarding the CEIDC, Crockett City Council, and the citizens of Crockett, Texas, along with the rest of the seated city council members, because I was talking to Mr. Johnson. You have voted in favor of the director and CEIDC all 3 times, and have sat on city council, all 3 times you've sat on city council, and definitely are responsible. Your vote on every matter, each one of you, your votes on every matter brought before city council can and will make a difference in whether our city succeeds or fails. Every vote, every time matters. The city's future is in your hands every time you vote. Vote wisely. Vote for the city of Crockett. And Mr. Jones, you truly know what you are doing, and it's not what is best for the city of Crockett. And I know that. And
Thank you.
I know you know that.
Dr. John Garner.
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, City Administrator, and fellow citizens of Crockett. I realize that I only allowed 3 minutes, and with my stuttering habit, that may be a challenge, but here goes. The consideration of a long-term contract for the CEIDC Executive Director is dividing our community and giving us the wrong kind of publicity. First of all, the position is essentially that of a salesperson on behalf of the city. Men in our community work on a salary basis plus commission or tips based on job performance. The idea of having a set salary plus automatic raises irregardless of job performance provides no incentive for any CEIDC Executive Director to produce results. Our local restaurant servers, hair salon workers, and salespeople cannot get an elevated salary with an automatic cost of living raise. For that matter, I cannot either. I have to work and provide a service to get paid. Secondly, I served on the Crockett School Board for 12 years. I learned that until recently, taxing entities like schools and cities could not extend a contract to a chief executive officer that exceeded the length of term for those granted that contract. That meant schools could not have a superintendent contract for more than 3 years, and cities could not have department heads for more than 2 years. Unfortunately, that legal limitation has been changed, but not for the better. A 5-year contract to a city department director could result in a tragic situation where a new mayor and all new city council members would be stuck with a rogue employee that had no input in or discretion in hiring. Finally, an executive director who does not communicate with the city administrator or city employees and reports only to the CEIDC Board of Directors effectively insulates himself or herself from city officials who are voted on by the citizens. Yes, the Economic Corporation Board of Directors are appointed by City Council, but that Board of Directors is not elected by the voters. The voters are effectively placed in a situation of taxation without representation. I'm unaware who drew up this proposed contract, but it is blatantly slanted toward the Executive Director and heavily biased against the City of Crockett and its citizens. I'm currently seeking procurement of another dentist for our fair city. We are running dangerously low on professional people like doctors, dentists, lawyers, and accountants here in Crockett. A divided and vengeful city controversy will only hinder our prospects for securing additional professionals for our city. Please do not take any action out of anger, short-sightedness, or revenge in this matter. May we see God's guidance in this and everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephen Wales.
I've been a public servant for my entire adult life. And to me, that means doing the right thing all the time, no matter what. So we have a few questions for the council members. Has the proposed contract for James Gentry been reviewed by the city attorney? If not, why? I've witnessed that needing input from legal counsel being a reason for other items not being approved in prior city council meetings. Long-time listener, first-time speaker. How is there not a conflict of interest with at least one of the city council members to vote on the CEIDC matters? If you were on the CEIDC board and removed due to violations, why are you not recusing yourself from voting on matters related to the CEIDC? If you discuss this conflict of interest or perceived conflict of interest with the city attorney to get a legal opinion, have you done that? Was the CEIDC not established to help the city of Crockett? And if it was, which I would hope is the intent, how does this employment contract benefit anyone other than James Gentry? He is supposed to be the executive director of CEIDC, but not required to communicate with any city officials or the city administrator. If the relationship is that adversarial, how does anyone expect a successful outcome? I guess it depends on what your real motives are behind approving a contract such as this. And why would the communications of all CEIDC employees with the city officials need to be controlled? This would only be necessary if you either A, do not properly train your employees, or B, you are trying to control the narrative because you have something to hide. This speaks volumes about the types of leader the executive director is. However, I view leader as not a civil servant. You are a servant. In a small city as Crockett, why is it necessary to be given a vehicle? And also include provisions for expenses for usage of a personal vehicle. This is wasteful. From my perspective, the only person benefiting from this contract is James Gentry. And if external audits and reviews have demonstrated wrongdoing, why would the city want to continue a professional relationship with him? In fact, since I've lived here for approximately 2.5 years, I've heard ongoing complaints about the roads. How about the city council use $500,000 that would go to pay for Ms. Gentry's contract and use it to build the infrastructure in Crockett? That's a necessity that if you truly want a new business to come to Crockett, they would need.
Thank you. Is it Bobby Kennard Townsend?
Afternoon. My name is Bobby Kenneth Townsend. I'm the former San Jacinto Constitutional Study Group director in the Houston, Texas area for almost 30 years. I've published 2 books, and in court, I'm considered a credible witness. So what I have done is research what's all of this stuff's going on. I read Mr. John's letter that he sent everybody telling them that you should refrain from what you're doing, and I'm going to let you know why. Okay, City Crockett Council is not authorized by state law to vote or extend that executive director's contract, since it's actually a non-paid office under the Texas Local Government Code 501.062D. Voting for this unlawful contract can be considered abuse of office. And in the Texas Penal Code of 39.02, it is somewhere between a first degree and a third degree felony for you to actually vote for that $500,000 or whatever the heck it is. And if anyone here votes for the contract, even if it doesn't pass, I'm going to file a criminal complaint against whoever votes for it, just to let you know. Okay? I've got everything in here for everybody to see why it shouldn't be done. Okay? In your own manual, in the Texas Municipal League Economic Development Handbook, on page 32, it says, directors serve without compensation but must be reimbursed for actual expenses. And it tells in here that it's 501.062D. And at the very bottom, it says, the directors serve at the pleasure of the city council and may be removed by the city council at any time without cause. Do you understand what I just said? That lawsuit that this man is filing against the county has no basis in law at all for him to say, since you have the right to shut him down the day after you appoint him. You have that in Texas law. So, I've got everything in here. There's no reason for me to have to quote all the Texas law to you because you're going to have it in your possession. But I want you to understand that the only reason I'm not filing you a criminal complaint for what you've done in the past is because I think I've checked on it and that the statutes of limitations have already passed by because you voted on it like almost 5 years ago or something like that. But when you do it today, the statutes of limitations start right up.
Thank you. Okay, that ends out. Those are all of the comments from the public. At this time,